So here's an interesting thing. I just finished work and I thought I'd do a bit of yoga before I did my post. And I was so up in my head that I couldn't balance. I couldn't get any balance at all. My mind was completely elsewhere. And this is my point about headaches. So when you think about your headache, it's like it's a separate thing, but really everything that goes on up here translates into symptoms here. And a headache is a symptom where your body is saying, I need you to stop and rethink everything. So we go about our day, and if you think about it, and we think about everything, and that's what gives us so many headaches. But where do you actually stop and let everything go? And yes, everyone says, I just don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time. But if you've got kids, for instance, that's really not a great message to teach them, because you're teaching them that they have to just keep going and going and going. And that's not me having a go at you at all. I commend you if that's your schedule and it's insane. But for the majority of us, we convince ourselves that that's the way it has to be. And that's okay if you really love what you're doing. But even if you love what you're doing, like I do, you do have to stop. And headaches are a way of saying, I'm going to take you out. You just don't stop. So I'm going to make you stop. So you can't actually move. You're hurting so much. So if that is happening with you, I am going to write down some supplements and things in my physical post, but I'd rather just talk to you and say, it's okay to keep going and going and going, but actually we have about 6 to 8 cycles during the day when we need to just stop. And if we don't do that, and that doesn't mean you stop and you get on a cushion and you start meditating. I do that, and I also bob around like this, but I do that and I love it, but obviously that's not for everyone. But there are versions of that. There are sitting in your car, just sitting with the engine off, radio off, bloody phone off, and just looking out the window. If you can do that for as much time as possible, 12 is optimal, 12 minutes, but needs must. So it could be 2 minutes. And on my previous post, I said about breathing in for 2 and breathing out for 2, breathing in for 4, holding for 4, and out for 4, and holding for 4. That's the box breath. And I teach all my clients that. That is really, really good way of bringing the mind and the body back together again, because we are so disconnected. And that was my point. I started doing some yoga and I was literally wobbling all over the place because my brain was going, yeah, and you need to mention that, and you need to mention that. So this is really just to say that if you are getting headaches, symptom wise, it's your body's way of saying, okay, we need to change something. That could be meaning that you also have constipation and your diet is full of too much processed shit, because we don't function properly with too much processed stuff. It's lovely at the weekend, say, but it has effects. So obviously if you came for reflexology, I'd teach you all the techniques you can use to bring that metabolism back into balance and clear out all the stuff. But also, people come for hypnosis because they've got addicted to those processed chemicals. And so we need to find ways to stop when our body says stop. So you may get a headache and neck ache, and the neck ache is your way of saying, I can't cope with all this, it's just too much in my head. There's a lot of people get occipital pain, which is that area back here, and that will translate into headaches or cluster headaches over one eye, or and it can go down the back. It could be a knee problem and it causes a neck problem and you get a headache. So there are all these symptom pathways going on all the time. So we just need to stop when our body says stop. And lovely ways to do this are to sit with the pets. The pets will teach us exactly how to rest and breathe properly. You can also stretch out on the floor. The most important thing is to allow that headspace. That's why there is that meditation app called Headspace, because we need space to just be. Okay, so that is the 6 to 8 times a day you're supposed to do it. It may be that you're at work and you go and sit on the loo for 3 minutes and just clear your head from all the noise. Or it may be that you go out into the garden. If your day goes mental from the moment you get up, then get up 3 minutes earlier and go and stand in the garden and look at either the sky in the dark or the light coming up, or whenever it is that you work. But when we get these symptoms, it's our body saying, no drama, but we need to rethink things. Like I said, I'll put some comments down underneath about supplements you can take, whether you're vegan or non-vegan. I'll try and think of ideas that, find sources. I've already said about the blue light glasses and the orange light glasses. But the most important thing for this weekend, and I thought it was really important to get it across on the Friday, although a lot of us work at the weekend, but see if you can get in those 3 minutes. And if those 3 minutes are, one of my favourite things is just chilling with my kids in silence, perhaps just sitting with them while they do their thing. But they are diamond moments. Those walks with the dog or the ferret or wherever it is you walk, those hugging tree moments, those going out on your bike on your own, the sitting in the car, sitting next to someone in silence. They are diamond moments, and they will do you so much good and help you heal yourself. Yeah, it was a bit woo-woo, I know, I don't care. I really don't care, because I am woo-woo and I really care about my clients and I love teaching this stuff. So I hope you have a brilliant weekend, and if you've got any questions or observations, then put them down below, and I will be posting a lot more about this connection between reflexology and the body systems and hypnotherapy, and how they combine so nicely, because they connect the mind and the body together beautifully, and help you live your best self. Have a lovely weekend.